الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلي وسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين بعثه الله شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا الحمد لله. So continuing off with our book Ad-Dawa Ad-Dawa by Ibn Qayyim, we are on a new chapter where Ibn Qayyim he talks about Dawa al-'i as-su'al. He says that the treatment for ignorance is to ask questions. And he brings about a hadith as mentioned by Abu Dawood, and I'll read the hadith. So he says, فَرَوَى أبو داود في سننه من حديث جابر بن عبد الله قال. He says that Abu Dawood, he narrates in his sunan. So sunan, you might hear the word sunan here and there. And sunan refers to a specific hadith collection that has hadith related to fiqh and ahkam. So for example, there are some books that bring hadiths of tahara, of how to pray, of how to give zakat. These hadith are then collected in sunan collections. And so Abu Dawood, he mentions this hadith in his sunan collection, and it's narrated by Jabir ibn Abdullah. He says, خرجنا في سفر. He says that a bunch of us companions were out traveling. فَأَصَابَ رَجُلٌ مِنَّا حَجَرٌ. So he says, and then there was a man from amongst us, from our traveling party, who got hit by a stone. He got hit by a stone. فَشَجَّهُ فِي رَأْسِهِ. And that stone caused a wound on his head. ثُمَّ احْتَلَمَ. And then that man, he went to sleep and he had a wet dream. فسأل أصحابه فقال هل تجدون لي رخصة في التيمم. So now this guy is in a state of janaba. He's in a state of janaba. And he asks his companions and he says that, is there a concession for me to do tayammum? Because we know that if you're in janaba, you gotta do ghusl. But he has his head wound. And he's afraid that the water, if it touches the wound, it's gonna cause him harm. So he asked his companions, hey, can I do tayammum instead? And we know tayammum is darbatan. It's basically tayammum. If you want to do it, you say Bismillah, you strike the ground, touch your face, strike the ground again, and then there's two opinions. Some say you go up to your elbows like this, some say you just go up to your wrist like this. So he's asking for permission if he can do that as opposed to doing ghusl. And so they say, قالوا ما نجد لك رخصة. We don't find any concession for you. Meaning you can't do tayammum, you have to do ghusl. وأنت تقدر على الماء. There's no concession for you because you have the ability to use water. Water is available for you to use. فاغتسل. And so this man now, he doesn't do tayammum, he does ghusl. And so فمات. And so he does ghusl and then he passes away. فلما قدمنا على النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أخبر بذلك. And so when we come to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Sahaba say this, that when we come to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم and he is told about what happened, he says قتلوه. They killed him. Meaning they were the cause of his death. قتلهم الله. And may Allah kill them. And so this phrase قتلهم الله, it's not taken literally. We're not asking Allah to actually kill these people. But it's used, as scholars say, زَجْرًا وَتَهْدِيدًا. It's to scare people. It's to rebuke them. It's to scold them. And Lisan al-Arab is one of the dictionaries that are commonly used. The scholar Ibn Manzur, he says that la'ana means ib'ad wa tard min al-khayr. It means to make someone distant from the mercy of Allah. That's what la'ana actually is, to make someone distant from the mercy of Allah. And so then we'll continue, and then he says, أَلَّا سَأَلُوا إِذْ لَمْ يَعْلَمُوا. Why did they not ask when they did not know? فَإِنَّمَا شِفَاءُ الْعِيءَ السُّؤَالِ. Because indeed, the treatment for ignorance is asking questions. إنما كان يكفيه أن يتيمم ويعصر أو يعصب على جرحه خرقة ثم يمسح عليها ويغسل سائر جسده or جسده. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he says, it would have been enough for them had they done tayammum and then wrapped something on the wound and then wiped over the wound or wipe over the band-aid and then wash the rest of the body. And that's the hadith. And so there's a few things I'll mention. Of course, there's a lot of like fiqh implications from this hadith, so I'll mention those really quickly. Number one, something interesting is that Mullah Ali Qari, who's one of the scholars, he says that from this hadith we also learn there's a mufti and he makes an incorrect judgment that causes someone to pass away, then that mufti will not have to give any blood money or there will be no retaliation against him. So that's one thing. The second thing is, if, for example, you are so sick that if you do ghusl you will pass away, then everyone says that you do tayammum. Everyone says that. But now, the Hanafis and the Malikis, they will also say that if you are so sick that making ghusl will not cause your death, but it will make your sickness worse, then you also do tayammum. You also do tayammum. But the third situation is, let's say you had a surgery, or let's say you have a cast, right? So let's say you dislocated your shoulder, or let's say you broke a bone somewhere on your foot, on your leg, and so you have a cast now. What do you do with that situation? And so the Shafi'i, they will take this hadith and they will say that you do as the Prophet ﷺ told us to do, which is you're gonna make ghusl everywhere on the body. On the cast, you're gonna just wipe, and then you're also gonna do tayammum. So you do tayammum and ghusl. But then the Hanafis and the Malikis, they say something else. They say that if the cast is not on the majority of the body, which is the case, which in most cases it's not, then you're just gonna wipe over the cast and do ghusl, but you don't do tayammum. You don't do tayammum. So that's the legal implication of this hadith. So in summary, we learn that jahl, that ignorance, is a type of ailment. And asking questions and learning is its cure. And from this we learn one very important concept, is that Islam tries to make us think beyond the physical world, beyond the physical reality. Right? We've talked about this in previous khatiras. Islam wants us to, when we look at a tree, to not just see the physical reality of that tree, but to see the qudra of Allah. Islam doesn't want us to just be focusing on accumulating wealth and accumulating more and more money. Islam wants us to seek contentment from the inside. As the Prophet says, Al-Ghina ghina al-nafs, that true self-sufficiency and richness is richness of the heart. And in this case as well, illnesses are not just physical illnesses, they're also spiritual illnesses. Amongst them being ignorance. And lastly, Islam is very clear about its stance on knowledge and about learning and gaining knowledge. And we all know the first verse to be revealed was Iqra, read, right? And the Prophet ﷺ is also told by Allah Azza wa Jal to make a dua. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, and say, O Prophet, that, O my Lord, increase me in knowledge. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah also, He says, وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. And whoever is given hikmah, meaning wisdom, but scholars also say it refers to deep knowledge, فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا, then he has been given something amazing. He has been given something amazing. So may Allah make us amongst those who are given deep knowledge, who are given wisdom, and who practice what we learn. Ameen, ameen, ya Rabbil Alameen. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.